out my community page for said updates to breaking news, hot topics, and also take the polls. This commentary is pertaining to a man who was held hostage in a home for 20 years in Waterbury, Connecticut. A video has been released pertaining to the firemen and police officers that came to the scene, questioning the victim and also the stepmother. And here you're going to get a bullseye view of the dirtiness of Kimberly Sullivan. Just, this woman is hideous. Just absolutely hideous. And one thing I like to say before starting this commentary, I am so sick of seeing people who live in hoarded houses and mistreat children and elderly adults and other adults, disabled adults, and they always have pets. I'm sick of that. Every time you see a hoarded house, they always have an animal. And it's obvious from what we've seen, what you can see in these still photos and the videos, this woman only cared about dressing up, painting her face with clown makeup, and buying clothes. She didn't care anything for her stepson. And you're also going to see her son in the video. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So other people knew about this young man, and I think others need to be also charged. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganG129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Welcome to the Vault XL, everybody.
Which is giving us a clear picture of what police saw on February 17th in Waterbury, kicking off an investigation into what they believe was a man held captive for 2 decades in his own home. News 12 Connecticut's Greg Thompson has been going through that footage. He joins us now. And Greg, what are you seeing?
So, as we already knew, police had said that this started with crews responding to a 911 call about a house fire, which the woman, who has now been identified as Kimberly Sullivan, says started in the room that her stepson was staying in. There's a fire! Yeah, get out. In this new video, we can see that Sullivan was apparently still inside the house when officials arrived. Had to be told by them to get out. This next part, which we'd already seen, shows her making sure that they knew someone else needed help.
We're going to interject in between for copyright purposes. Why would you still be in the house? Were you trying to get that stepson out of there? Possibly that's what Kimberly Sullivan was doing. Trying to talk the stepson out of the house.
Who else is in here?
My stepson is in here.
Before firefighters are seen carrying out a man who police say only weighed 68 pounds.
One victim right here.
It was when they loaded him into the ambulance and started treating him that police say he started telling them that he started the fire on purpose as a way to escape after being locked in a tiny room for 20 years with hardly anything to eat. While most of the video has been blurred and the audio has been cut in the new footage, we do hear the officers afterwards.
It says he hasn't had a shower in over a year.
And almost
He hadn't had a shower in over a year. This is the information that he told paramedics. I started the fire. I wanted to be free. I've been captive for years, and I haven't had a shower in over a year. And as you see, you look at the photos of the bathroom, if that was the bathroom he was supposed to use, up there on the top floor, I'm assuming that's the top floor bathroom. If not, I stand corrected. Where was he supposed to use the restroom? To use the bathroom, wash his face, and also take a shower. We saw things in the tub, a lot of debris in the bathroom. Did he have an operable bathroom on the floor where he lived? Hello, Sammy P. Thanks for joining me.
So immediately, police tried to get eyes back on Sullivan.
Here you go. I'm starting. We don't have enough to really contain her.
But there was a problem.
It actually already took off. It was
So they're looking for Mrs. Sullivan. Now her son is he is in the ambulance at this point, giving the 411 on his situation. She's poof, voila, disappeared. This heathen has disappeared and her son is in an ambulance. So does she drive or not drive? We will see. No care for the stepson, obviously. Okay? And he also says we have enough to detain her. So this is why it possibly took 1 month before she was arrested and charged with the said crimes against the stepson.
There was a black Acura that they already took off.
Officers are heard running her plate number, and based on the time on the body cams, it took about an hour for them to find her. sitting in a parking lot.
Hello, are you Kimberly?
The officer then starts questioning her. First, about how her stepson told her about the fire.
He said that he couldn't come out of the room because there were flames.
Okay.
And I was standing like back because I could see them. And I said, just come out.
And he couldn't get out because of the flames?
Right.
Before eventually, moving on to some of the things they say he told them.
Was the door locked in his room or no?
No.
Okay, is it normally locked?
No.
Okay, it's normally open?
No. Yeah.
And he has free reign to go out of there whenever he wants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Police did let
So, sitting in the parking lot with her daughter, I'm assuming, it took them 1 hour to find her. No rush to go to the hospital to see how the son is doing. They're asking her about the... She's saying, oh, no, it wasn't locked. He could come in and out as freely as he wanted to. But we weren't there to know what was what. We know that there are latches on the door from the outside. So was the door locked or unlocked? Number one. Number two, was the door open when the firemen got there? What was the state of the door when they got there? Did they have to breach the door or they were freely able to walk in? You're going to hear her talk about getting him out of the room.
It let Sullivan go after that, but they say they continued to look into what her stepson had said before eventually arresting her about a month later on March 11th. Now charging her on multiple counts, including assault, kidnapping, and unlawful restraint. Now that body camera footage isn't the only new images we're seeing today. Waterbury Police also releasing these pictures you're seeing right here from inside of the house. Now, obviously there was a fire leading to some of the damage, but still, you can get some sort of idea of just what kind of conditions police say the victim was being held in. For now, that is the latest here in the newsroom. Greg Thompson, News 12, Connecticut.
Those with Robin Hood gold.
Sorry about that brief intermission. Why would this woman, stupid question, I already know the answer, go sit in a parking lot for an hour? Just go sit in a parking lot while the son is in the ambulance. So you have no concern of how he's doing, if he's breathing, alive, anything. This is crazy to me. But see, the answers are already there. She never cared for him. That's the point.
There's a fire. Yeah, get out. You gotta get out.
This is a fool. What was taking her so long to get out?
It's not safe. You have to get out.
What was she doing? No curtains up on the window? Which room was that he was knocking on? Kitchen, bedroom, living room window, back room. Damn nut. Look like the fireman failed. Lord have mercy. Falling before they even get to the fire.
We gotta get a unit to that side. And so why don't you bring your car over on that side? Go all the way around. And we'll turn these guys around. Hey. They're pulling everybody out right now. Who are you? That's your wife?
No, my wife's in the car. That's the mother-in-law.
That's your mom? Yeah, okay. Listen, we gotta get you guys off the road. Go
Let's
to the
hear
other
that
side
again.
over
Mother
there.
or mother-in-law?
That's the mother-in-law.
That's your mom? Yeah, okay. All right.
Mother-in-law,
Listen, we're
mother.
gonna get you guys off the road. Go to the other side over there.
So I guess he's the
We're gonna have to
son-in-law.
calm down. You gotta leave. Okay? So when you get there, you can stay as far as you can, and we'll bring her over when we're done. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
there's smoke?
I smelled it.
Okay, where were you?
It's bad.
In bed? Where's your bed? Downstairs, upstairs?
She's in the back
Upstairs,
seat
okay.
of a car.
You smelled it, so then what happened then?
I guess he was sleeping. He passed out.
Okay. But what did you do though, specifically?
I was screaming for him. I was
Okay.
screaming, for him, and I was trying to go into the room, but it was just flames. So he came out of the room. He magically woke up. He came out of the room.
So when you saw him at first, he was sleeping?
No, he was talking.
Okay.
But he said that he couldn't come out of the room because there were flames.
Okay.
And I was standing like back because I could see them, and I said, just come out.
So this is where this is a problem. We don't know if the door was locked or unlocked. While she's describing, talking to him, he's inside of the room, flames. So she's making it appear as if the door is open and she can see that there's flames in the room, and he's talking, but he won't come out. This is how deranged that this person is at this time. If this is true now, if this is true, he's in a room that's on fire and won't come out. And she's talking to him with a door open with flames in the room, and he won't come out. It's just true. So we don't even know if he wasn't, if the door was locked or not, he couldn't get out. That's why he set the room on fire, was to get out, because he couldn't get out. So that's what we need to know. And I don't think we're gonna know. We'll have to believe his version. Hey, I set this room on fire because the door was locked. I couldn't get out. I have not been roaming freely. So what is the truth? The door stayed unlocked with a chain on the outside, and he was just scared to come in and out, or leave this place, run away, fear, delayed developmentally, disabled. See, you gotta ask all those questions. Because she's basically making it seem like she's talking to him with the door open, and she can see the flames.
Out.
And he couldn't get out because of the flames?
Right. I said, just come out. Just come out.
Okay.
Just come out,
Did he run through him?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
I guess he did.
Was the door locked in his room or no?
No.
Okay, is it normally locked?
No.
Okay, it's normally.
Okay, so she says the door was not locked. The cop says, was it normally locked? She said no. So what's the truth?
Open? And he has free reign to go out of there whenever he wants?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he have any mental challenges or anything?
Inside?
So they cut that.
Inside.
So they cut that out of the video. Her answer to the man having developmental issues. So does he have developmental issues? Well, my thing is this: if he wasn't developmentally delayed as a child, he would be now, with everything he's gone through and living in this house with these people who did not care about him, weighing only 68 pounds. Lawyer said, well, we will wait to go to court to prove why he was weighing such a small amount. So like I said before in my video yesterday, well, for your sake and her sake, she better hope they have something physically wrong with him. The reason that he weighs 68 pounds, ass man. 68 pounds is not a normal weight for any grown-up. A 32-year-old man weighing 68 pounds, do you know what 68 pounds looks like? Trust me, it ain't good. It ain't good at all.
I'll go back inside. Here. Come, you cannot go back inside right now. The house is on fire. You're not going back in. All right? We're gonna
Can she come down here? Can I go?
Your daughter's the one in that car?
Yes.
She's gonna be over there for you. Okay? I told her to go to the park.
So that's the daughter and husband that are in the car.
You're gonna walk. We'll walk with you. Okay?
How am I going to get over
I
there?
told her to go to the park and wait for you. Okay?
You tell her you're going to walk over there.
Go ahead. Which apartment is this?
Don't you find it interesting? She has a dog in her hand. She made sure to get that dog. She made sure to get that dog. She's willing to burn up to get her dog. Just saying. Police talking to her through a window. Ma'am, you need to get out of the house. Your house is on fire. She's steady sitting there trying to talk to the son allegedly to get out. She knows how bad it's going to look. She knows these people are going to come in there and see the house cluttered up, filthy, in disarray, house needing work. They're going to see all that, even though there's damage now to the house because, naturally they had to use a water hose and the fire damage the house, but you still can see things that the fire would not have caused, such as debris, plastic tubs, stuff piled up. The fire didn't do that. And she knows that. And this is why the cop was standing at the car just now asking her all these questions about him being able to come and go, door locked, unlocked, because they want to get a version from her. And naturally, it will play out in court, what she said and did not say about him moving about the house freely. There's also information that he was hiding under a table in the house, wouldn't come out. So this is very interesting information. And I read that from a different content. And he didn't want to come out. So that's what's so weird about this story. Set the fire upstairs. She's saying he didn't want to come out of the room. Then we later hear she said he allegedly was under the table downstairs, and he didn't want to. Maybe that's what she was doing when she was in that room where the cop was knocking on the window. Maybe she was trying to get him to come out, and he was hiding under the table. Maybe he really feared this lady. I'm not going nowhere with her. Not even outside. I'd rather burn up in here than be anywhere near her. Scary.
Make sure we get her in the house. Yes, she else is in the house, right? Her family's over there. Okay. Her family's over there, so I told her over there. Any idea what happened? Am I going here?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess Mark and I was following you down.
All right, tell me to do.
Okay. I'll come Mark.
Am I going here?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess Mark and I was following you down.
All right, tell me to do.
Okay. I'll come Mark. I'll text you.
Well, Bumbleweed, it happened.
Right now, or what?
What?
You want me to hang by stepmom for right now? Or?
Yeah, get her.
I'll try to find out where the hell she is. Because I just got
She's
here.
waiting in the car down there.
Okay.
So basically, they're just recapping the situation. I have a lot of questions, naturally. That's where he's trying to talk to her at the window.
Fire.
He said that he couldn't come out of the room because there were flames.
Okay.
And I was standing like back because I could see them. And I said, just come out.
He couldn't get out because of the flames?
Right.
Before eventually, moving on to some of the things they say he told them.
Was the door locked in his room or no?
No.
Okay, is it normally locked?
No.
Okay, it's normally open?
Yeah.
And he has free reign to go out of there?
So he asked her, was it normally open? She said yes. She's sitting in the back seat of this SUV where her son-in-law and daughter driving this car. All of you all are in the wrong because you all never went to the hospital. So this is a problem, okay? We're gonna work our way on back. We're gonna start, make our way back to the front room. Where were you all for 1 hour? Sitting, why are you sitting in a parking lot? Why are you not at the hospital? Why are you not in the emergency room trying to see what's going on with this young man? Because you all are sitting in a car trying to concoct your story for Mommy Dearest. I'm woke. Are you all woke? They had to use what? The car readers to find your car? Track your car to a parking lot. How stupid does that look? 3 people sitting in a car. And a man just was rushed to the hospital. This is the world that we live in right now. You don't know your neighbors. You don't know people. This is why I keep trying to tell people stop bragging about people. He's nice, she's nice. He's nice to you. It's not nice maybe to me. Maybe not nice to his kids. Maybe not nice to his mom. You see where I'm going with this. Maybe he beats his wife, rude to his wife, nasty to his wife. So you don't know people. Nondescript house, sitting near a corner lot. Child could have easily walked off, ran off, but he didn't. This case is no different than the 3 children found in the Pontiac, Michigan home, their mother threatened them to not leave the house, and they did as they were told. Our logic is, well, why didn't they run? Why didn't they get help? Because they're children. You can't rationalize things for children. Children don't think like adults. That's where you have the problem. And this person's been held captive since being a child, so he still probably has a childlike mind. Is he developmentally late? Don't know. But she answers all the questions because he's going to need all this information later because it'll be used against her in the court of law. Everything said to this man he could roam freely. But where there's a problem is the obvious. He set the house on fire, his room, and he wouldn't come out of the room, so you say. So now we got to wait to hear what he says. Did he run right out, or was that door locked? And she had to go unlock it and then told him, hey, come on, let's go. So, Kimberly, which version shall I believe? The door was unlocked, the door was open. He set the room on fire and still wouldn't run out of an open door. Help me understand. His mind was this warped that he set the fire to a room with an open door or a room that he could open the door. Which one is true? In the end, it's not going to matter because he's going to be tested cognitively. They'll probably find some things that are not up to aptitude. We will probably learn the last grade that he is cognitively. 4th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, don't know. See, all that's going to matter. What he can comprehend and what his knowledge is of the world. But this video is telling. Cop knocking on a window. Come out, come out, come out, come out. Still standing in a burning house. That's because she was doing something. What was that? Talking to him. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's get out of here. And she had to make it look like, she was trying to help this guy out. This guy she really didn't give a damn about, because how would it look? You know that somebody else is in your house and you're not trying to help them out. Maybe he fears her. And that's what was said in court by his lawyer. Why is she still free walking around while I was captive for 20 years? So that means he's aware of his faculties. What is this man going to tell us in a court of law? My advice to Kimberly Sullivan is to stop using that mouthpiece with the glasses and slick hair, because he's going to get you all the time in prison, Miss Lady, because all of this is going to be played in court if the judge allows it, and it ain't going to look good. And I'm sure victim A is going to testify. Ding, ding, ding. And then people are going to testify that never knew that he existed. Ding, ding, ding. And then they're going to ask your son, daughter, Pookie, Ray Ray, did they know of him and his state? Ding, ding, ding. And what are you going to say in response? And please don't tell me you want to testify, because I don't recommend it. You're going to put on like you did here in this video. Oh, I'm trying to get him out. Oh, the flames. Run out, run out. Run out, run out. It's amazing how when there are witnesses, eyewitnesses. This is the time to put on your grandstanding acting. I was trying to get him out. I was trying to get him out. And she's got her little puppy dog in her arm. And that's what I noticed about this female, that she is taking all her money, like a lot of people, and she's spending it on stupid stuff, like buying a bunch of clothes, shoes, stockpiling a house that's falling apart, roofing needs to be repaired, holes in the wall, inoperable bathrooms. But you'd rather go spend all your money on Maybelline and Ulta, what do they call it? Ulta and all these fancy brands for lipstick and fingernail polish and buying the latest Louis Vuitton handbag. And if you watch closely, she had a glittery sweater on. That's where her money went. Her house is falling apart. She's got this grown-up living there that's falling apart, and all she cared about is the dog and makeup. Checkmate. I see people like her every day. They'll walk around with a $300 handbag and don't even have a sofa to sit on. Stay woke, everybody. House needs to be repaired. Grass needs to be cut. Need to pay the water bill, light bill, gas bill. Fuck it. Need those shoes. Need those nice shoes from the mall. People live like this every day, like Kimberly Sullivan. You just don't know it because you don't know them or you've never been in their house. But imagine all the people you've met in your life and you got a bullseye view of how they lived inside of their house. I don't think you'd be feeling the same way about them. I know her type. I know her kind. They're always in the stores. They're always online shopping. They're always at the mall, the thrift store, to take a bunch of junk back, stockpile their house with plastic bags and tubs, while also abusing a grown-up held hostage since 10 or 11 years old. Somebody said she worked at Penny's. Well, that's what's filled up in that house, a bunch of shit from JCPenney's and God knows where else. So you don't know people. You see people out all the time. I thrift every blue moon, and the first thing I think about at the thrift store, then I go to the next thrift store nearby, then they're in there. First thing I'm thinking, what does their house look like? Because you'll be surprised if you saw how a lot of people lived. They can't even get through the front door. It's an addiction. It's a sickness. But besides her having a sickness of hoarding, she was holding a man hostage, and I won't doubt he was mistreated. CPS came 2 times or so. Nothing was done. Called 20 times exactly. Nothing was done. Come to the house. Nothing was done. She threatened to sue the city or DHS because they were stalking her, harassing her. And then she finally took the boy out of school, she and the husband. The husband, to me, he's no different. He's dead. He can't stand account. But they're all catalysts in this. Anybody that lived in the house and knew how this boy was treated, who's now a man, you are guilty the same. All the 2 adults sitting in this truck are guilty because she's in the back of your truck and you all went and parked a car for 1 hour in some nondescript location while this man's in the hospital and nobody's in there checking on him to see how he's doing. Because you were done with him. Because you've been done with him. So let him stay in the hospital. We ain't got no room for him. He ain't getting in this car. They knew exactly what they were doing. Come on, bring it home, Queen. They knew exactly what they were doing. We got to sit and figure this out. That's what they were doing right there in that car. Trying to put that shit together on paper. But you can't put it together because it's already messed up. Because he's already told them the business when he got in the ambulance. Yeah, I set that room on fire. I wanted to be free. I've been locked in there. That's why they're sitting in that car, trying to put them lives together. But what is the old saying? What is understood needs no explanation. Kimberly Sullivan, you could put it together, sweetheart. The deal was sealed when he set that room on fire. They saw the latch on the back of the outside door. They saw the rooms, how they looked. Inoperable bathrooms, ceilings and shit caving in. They knew what time of day it is. You're a dirty bird. And now you can't even get money for the house. You can't get insurance money. You are a rap sister. And now you've been arrested and charged with said crimes against a human being. And your lawyer's doing all this fancy talk. He needs to sit on down somewhere. I'm sick of him. He's another Jose Baez. He's doing the same type of slick shit talk like he did for Casey Anthony. And sadly, 12 members down there let that heifer go free. But I doubt that you're going to walk free. And I pray nobody gives her probation. She gets probation. Because she don't deserve to be free. She shouldn't even have a bond. And the judge, you were wrong to give her a bond. Now, she is on a GPS monitoring, but she's not on house arrest because she doesn't have a solid address. But she does have a GPS monitoring system. Let's go to my community page and check out the latest videos pertaining to what was found in the house. Welcome to the Vault XL, everybody. Welcome new viewers, new subs. Thank you. Hit that like button, honey. All right. Welcome to the Vault XL. Okay. Now we're going to go. Let's see what the documents have revealed about this debacle. Hope you all are well. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
In his room or no?
No.
Okay, is it normally locked?
No. Tonight, two sides of the Waterbury captivity case are coming to light. A man says he was locked up in the home for 20 years by his stepmother, but she claims. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us here for the news at 11. I'm Keisha Grant. It has now been 43 days since that February night when a man set fire to his home to escape what he calls his prison. Since then, we have seen videos of his rescue, found only weighing 68 pounds, and pictures of the conditions inside the home. Tonight, the attorneys for the stepmother are pushing back, upset that this evidence has even been released. NBC Connecticut's Melissa Cooney joins us now in the studio with insight from a legal expert on how this case could play out. Melissa.
Let's stop here. Should the photos have been released to the public? Sullivan's lawyer feels like it's prejudicial, that they won't be able to get a jury in that area, that town. Well, sir, people don't live on the rocks. You can go to another jurisdiction in Connecticut and they would have heard this story. It's playing every day on the news. Come on, social media. So you could go 2 towns over and somebody in that town has heard this story. And it's up to those 12 people to either be truthful with you all or not in the jury selection. Now, at the beginning of this video, you hear the cop asking her about the man's movement. Door open, door closed, locked. So once again, gotta ask. Could it be so much has been done to him mentally that she didn't have to lock the door? Just asking. I'll leave the door open. He's not gonna go anywhere. He's not gonna call for help. He's not gonna run out. Are we gonna find out that he was so mentally drained, traumatized, that the door wasn't locked? That he could go in and out the door, but he chose not to free himself because he's been traumatized mentally. What's the truth? We'll have to wait to hear from him. For him to tell us, yes, the door was locked, the door was not locked. But her version is the door was not locked. He could move about freely. Because she should know at some point, as he's getting older, he could try her. He could push her, shove her, strangle her, beat her. And I think once a person gets to a certain weight, they would fear for their own safety trying to lock up a grown-ass kid, teenager, or man. That would be very dangerous. So I don't know when he got down to 68 pounds. The point is, he could have overpowered her at some point. And so maybe the door was unlocked. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. And she felt like, well, he's not going anywhere. But my thing is, if you're not feeding a person properly, they're not getting the proper nutrients, vegetables, water. They're not getting sunlight. You need sunlight. You need vitamin D. You need potassium. You need so many things to keep your organs up to par. She didn't care. And it was mind control. He's not going anywhere. He ain't going to do nothing. Yeah. I'll leave him. I won't lock it now from now on, but he ain't going nowhere. What I'm trying to figure out, even if this was the mentality, door locked, not locked, how long does she think this is going to go on with him not being able to eat, have proper food? Now, let her lawyer tell that there was food in the house, food was brought into the house, but see, that doesn't mean anything about food being brought into the house. Just because you're bringing food in doesn't mean the people in the house are getting the food. Have you all ever heard of people locking food in their room, hiding food under the bed, padlocking the freezer, refrigerator? We do have some crazy psycho people who have done this. They have children in their house, other people staying, and they lock up the food. They hide the food. And if it's true, that's what she was doing. You can't touch it, don't open it, don't think about it. So did he have free range to walk through this house?
That's right, Keisha. Her attorneys worry that the footage, photos, and files that we've obtained through a
Since he doesn't have a shower over we already got him. I'm still under. We don't have enough to really retain her.
New body camera footage brings us back to February when police say a man set his own Blake Street home on fire to allegedly escape 20 years of captivity from his mother, Kimberly Sullivan. You're about to hear from her answering questions from police that night.
Was the door locked in his room or no?
No.
Okay, is it normally locked?
No.
Okay, it's normally open?
No, yeah.
And he has free reign to go out of there whenever he wants?
Yeah.
Okay.
According to incident reports, this wasn't the first time police were at the home. Officers had 2 interactions with the Sullivans in 2005 relating to their stepson. The first, when school children called DCF, expressing concern that he wasn't in class. The report said he was being homeschooled, and an officer says he appeared healthy and happy. The late father reported harassment against the former principal, who previously told NBC Connecticut he made multiple reports out of concern for the boy. These photos also released paint a picture inside the Sullivan home showing what appears to be locks in the home.
It was shocking, to say the least. I can't explain why it would be done. The only thing that we could think of is it is clearly being done to sway public opinion.
Sullivan's defense attorney says the actions of Waterbury police releasing the files was reckless, saying it could compromise Sullivan's right to a fair trial.
We are in the middle of a very high-profile case with a lot of attention and a lot of minds made up all over the world. It's not just here.
The attorney, the defense attorney, even though it may be very hard for people to accept, he's doing his job.
Legal analyst and defense attorney Jim Bergen says this situation is not uncommon for high-profile cases and believes the evidence-based court system should do. He does expect the eventual jury selection process to take longer than usual.
The system will restrict it to evidence, will require picking jurors who are qualified to be able to look fresh.
And we have reached out to the Waterbury Police Department in response to today's press conference, but haven't heard back. In the studio tonight, NBC Connecticut News. Keisha, back to you. Time is running out.
All right, everybody, weigh in. The lawyer says that's his job to defend her. I know a lot of people feel like I shouldn't be defending her. Well, we have learned everyone needs a defense, okay? That's the law. You're presumed innocent until found guilty. But you all can't get mad at the fact that these photos have been released. So take the poll on my community page where I ask you about the pictures being released. Should they have been released to the public? Will this hinder her from getting an impartial jury? I say no, because we know that people don't have to tell the truth when asked questions. Hey, do you feel this? Do you feel this? Are you going to weigh in everything without being biased? People tell you, oh, sure, I can do it. I can do it. This is the Queen, for those who don't know me. This is a new hairdo. Just did my hair. Just colored it red. We've gone back red, everybody. Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you so much for the support. Let's hear what else they have to say. More photos have been released pertaining to this nonsense.
Waterbury. A woman accused of holding her stepson captive for decades.
Today's Catherine Hauser just received new photos of that scene. Catherine, this is our first look inside, right?
It is. This is a story we've been digging into. We are also hearing from the suspect, Kimberly Sullivan, in her own words, on the night of that fire that started inside that Blake Street home that the victim was found in. So take a look. These are the first images, as Darren mentioned. You can see much of the inside of that home was damaged by fire. Now, it's unclear exactly what room the alleged victim was kept in, but you can see doors with locks on them. These are photos taken by police. Now, police said that the locks stuck out to them, and they also questioned Kimberly Sullivan about the night of that fire.
You saw this, so then what happened then?
I guess he was sleeping. He passed out.
Okay. But what did you do though specifically?
I was screaming for him. I was screaming, for him, and I was trying to go into the room, but it was just flames. So he came out of the room. He actually woke up and came out of the room. Police say the victim, now 32 years old, and weighed just 68 pounds when he was found. Kimberly Sullivan has been ordered to wear GPS monitoring and has pleaded not guilty. She will be back in court next month, and we will follow that story for you.
What happened then?
I guess he was sleeping. He passed out.
Okay. But what?
Well,
Found in. So take a look. These are the first inside that
wasn't
Blake Street
passed out.
home that the victim was found in. So take a look. These are the first images.
That's his. Okay, take a good look. He was in a hoarder house. He started hoarding. The moment his father met her, his two other siblings, from my understanding, outside children with this woman here, he was the first, naturally, with the father, and then the father met her. He was a baby still, toddler, whatever. And then they made two other children together. Where I have the problem is that too many people knew what was going on with this child who is now an adult. And this house with all these pictures being released to the public shows you that he was not living in a good situation. The house was falling apart, it was hoarded up, and the only thing she cared about was herself. Husband's now dead, older children not in the house, locks on doors. He can only sleep in one room at a time, so why were there locks on the other doors? So you don't know what the hell was going on in his house. Someone in the chat said, what was the motive? The motive is probably the age-old motive, greed. Perhaps he was developmentally delayed. Maybe he got some type of check from the government, and she was hoarding the check. And that's usually what you see with abuse of children and elderly adults and disabled adults. They're doing it for the money. It happens all the time. Whether they live somewhere in a house, apartment, somebody's over their check, a payee, and they do what they want with the check. I've seen it 1,000 times. The person will be living on their own, and their rent's not getting paid. They're not getting groceries. They're not being seen by a doctor. Nobody's picking them up. Nobody's checking on them. Don't have a phone. Don't have resources. The person is just squandering their money. Is this the motive for this child, now adult? But see, where that's a problem too, this has been going on since he was a child, though. Kindergarten, that's a long time. It's only a few years from birth. 20 times they ever called CPS on this family. From kindergarten to the 4th grade. So you're talking about from the age 5 until the age 10 or 11. So ask that question. What was the motive then? Because this has been going on. This is not a new type situation. And I'm sure he's in poor health. You know, you're talking about, as I said, could have organ failure. You all have been mentioning something about the teeth. It's not in good shape. Probably has thinning hair because he hasn't been getting any proper nutrients, any sunlight, no vitamin D, not drinking water, not getting any vegetables, no interaction with human beings, possibly just listening to the radio or TV. As you see, there's a TV right there leaning up against the wall. So he did have access to a television. Don't know if he had Wi-Fi or cable or not. But the point is, he didn't have a productive life. And when you're going out doing things, events, sporting events, bookstores, things that people like to do what kind of life can you have? Now, I get it. A lot of people are recluses. They stay to themselves. They don't interact with other people. They don't go to functions. That's their choice. But at some point, that still would have to be a very lonely life. You're never going anywhere. Nobody's visiting you. Nobody's talking to you. Nobody's calling you. You're not having relations with another human. Come on. He's a grown man. He's never been with a girl, a woman, I don't guess. What type of abuse did he endure in this house? Mental, physical, sexual? This is bad. And I think what's going to happen is victim A is going to testify against Kimberly. And that is going to be the smoking gun. Victim A on the witness stand, telling his truth from childhood up until the moment he was rescued out of that burning house. So I've played you the video. I've also played you body cam footage of the police talking to her, getting the victim A out the house, crime scene photos, just played and more photos. Once again, Queen. Check out this nonsense pertaining to Lori Vallow. As most of you know, she's on trial, Arizona. She's been going back and forth with the judge about evidentiary material and witnesses. Just a hot butter mess. And also young Kimani, black girl who was found almost decapitated and hands cut off by her own alleged father in a burning house, abandoned house. I asked you all questions pertaining to the interview that her grandmother gave. I'm not really on that case much because I don't really like talking about children, but it's a very bizarre case as well because, once again, this is a child that was failed like this victim A in Connecticut. Sadly, she's not alive to tell her story. I asked you all about the interview. 8% of you said it was genuine. 77% of you said it's disturbing, not genuine. 15% of you said you're not sure. Pertaining to the Hackmans, should deceased photos of the Hackmans and pets be released to the public? The judge ruled no. 12% of you said yes. 86% no. 2% of you said not sure. There's new talk about Brian Korberger and the Idaho 4. And the father, Mr. Gonsalves, said that there was DNA under Maddie's cover and on her leg. So weigh in on that information by Mr. Gonsalves. Should Kimberly Sullivan be on house arrest alongside having an ankle monitor? 82% of you said yes. 14% said no. 4% said not sure. Now, her lawyer is crying about these photos being released to the public of her nasty house. So I ask you all, should these photos have been released to the public of her hoarded home? 73% yes, 13% no, 2% not sure, 11% says it doesn't matter. Then I brought you information also pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. He has a new male accuser who's mentioning other famous people being at Gloria and Emilio Estefan's house back in 2015. And they got him out of the house. He said he was drugged, and then he was taken through a tunnel, allegedly, to Sean Puffy Combs' house. Don't know if these allegations are true, but that's the latest developments with the Sean Puffy Combs case. And also, a female who filed a suit last year, her thrown out by a judge because she didn't file paperwork last month on a due date using her government name. So a lot of updates pertaining to Lori Vallow Daybell, Sean Puffy Combs, Brian Korberger. We're going to talk about probably Brian a little bit later. And also a Jeffrey Epstein accuser has only days to live, is what I heard. That's also court TV. What a hot butter mess. Yeah. So is your mama. So is your mama. Well, let me show you. I can show you, but I can tell you. So that's the latest, everybody. Let's hear what this sister has to say. She spoke to Banfield. Then I'm going to check out of here. Thank you all so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. And go to my community page once again for the said updates to storylines. I'm going to come back and talk about Korberger later. I want to talk about that DNA in Maddie's room. Did he do something sexually in her room? Curious.
Heather Tessman saw her half-brother. She was a small child and he was an infant. When she grew up, she tried to find him but couldn't. But a month and a half ago, she did find him on the news after he'd set fire to the Connecticut house where he had grown up and was trying to escape. He told responders that he had been a virtual prisoner in that house since the age of 11 and that for all of those 21 years, he had lived in torment. His sister learned from those news reports that now at the age of 32, her half-brother weighed just 69 pounds when the firefighters rescued him. The victim and his sister Heather share the same mother, a mother who gave up custody of both of them soon after they were born. Heather went into foster care and was later adopted, living the kind of life that her birth mom could not give her, a normal life. Her brother, however, had a very different upbringing. He was raised, if that's what you can call it, by his biological father and that man's wife, Kimberly Sullivan, the defendant. He and his sister Heather grew up just 15 minutes away from each other, but we've known for weeks about the unspeakable cruelty that brother says he endured every minute of every day in a house of horrors with his father and stepmother, but now we can actually see inside. Police in Waterbury, Connecticut have just released photos of that home, and they are as vile as we expected. Keep in mind, these pictures were taken after the victim set fire to the house in order to escape, and firefighters tried to knock that fire down. So you will see smoke damage, but that does not account for everything else you'll see. Certainly not for the filth and the locks that were fastened on the outside of doors. Kimberly, reckless endangerment and cruelty to persons. And her attorney is none too pleased that these photos are making the rounds.
It was shocking, to say the least. I can't explain why it would be done. The only thing that we could think of is that it's clearly being done to sway public opinion. In 2005, the police went to the home. They spoke to the individual. They reported that he appeared healthy, happy, and that the residents appeared normal and lived there.
Happy and healthy 20 years ago. That is the best they can do? That lawyer's client is out on $300,000 bail, and my next guest thinks that that is an outrage.
Exactly.
Heather Tessman joins me now, half-sister of the 69-pound man identified only in court papers as male victim 1. Heather, thank you so much for being on tonight to talk about this. What were your first thoughts when you heard the news about the fire and the rescue and the condition of your brother?
Well, I had first heard about what was going on via like body cam footage on YouTube and all that. It was days later when our mom had gotten a hold of me and said, "Hey, we found your brother." It was this guy, and I was like, absolutely not. There's no way. There's no way. You just never in your wildest dream, your worst nightmare could ever even think that this would be a possibility of somebody you've been actively searching for forever.
Talk to me about that, Heather. You had tried to find him and you had reached out in the past. What was the reaction of your brother's family to your efforts to see him and to meet him and to engage as a sibling?
I was pretty much told to go away, and he wasn't there. So, as far as I was aware, he was out of high school, hopefully, and, living his own life away from these people.
But you were blocked.
That's all Huh?
Okay, so now we got to ask the questions. She said she was told to go away. Did she go to this address where the brother was found by paramedics and firemen? Did she go to this address with this nasty house, filthy house, hoarded house? Did this sister, biological sister, go to this same address? And if she did, how did she get the information to go to this address? Who gave her information, or did she just go through Google and pay services to try to find next of kin, which would be the dead father and this woman, Kimberly Sullivan? And we've heard the biological mother speak out that at one point she didn't, know where he was in the beginning when he was younger, but then they moved, dropped contact, so she didn't have any way of finding out anything until her sister saw the story on the news. And I still found it weird because I thought, well, if the sister saw the story on the news, how would she have known that was the address where the son lived? Because if she could say, I saw such and such on the news, well, the dead man, he's dead. So the only person they showed was the son, victim A, and then this woman. So that's kind of confusing to me how her sister would know, but then she wouldn't know. So that's a little sketchy to me, just saying. I'd like that explained more in detail.
You were actively said, no comment, no connection, be on your way.
Yeah, exactly. And if you get that direct, what are you supposed to do?
Right, nothing.
There was nothing to find.
Now that you know this is what his life has been, all these years you grew up apart, you had any luck in trying to reconnect as he tries to heal from what he's been through?
I have not had any luck, but it's not up to me at this point. It's up to him, 100%. I would love a relationship, but if he doesn't want that, I have to deal with that in my own time. But I've always wanted him, really.
Have the detectives in this case been helpful to you at all, informing you of anything that's been going on in the investigation going forward?
No. It's an active investigation, and I understand I haven't exactly been. It's like I said, not up to me.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the pictures that we're all seeing. I know what my reaction is, but he's not my brother living in these conditions. What was your reaction?
I was horrified. I had a house fire when I was younger, so I understand what regular house fire damage looks like, and it's a pigsty.
Let's go back to that lock.
House fire damage looks like, and it's a pigsty, but regular house. And
hold on, everybody. I want to stop on that lock. Hold on.
Tell me a little bit about the pictures that we're all seeing. I know what my reaction is, but he's not my brother living in these conditions. What was your reaction?
I was horrified.
See, a door has been removed. This is why I always tell people you have to pay attention to anything in a photograph. Because like they said, they don't know exactly which room he was in. Now, the one they're showing with the tub, don't know if that was a room that he stayed in. But here we have a door removed, a light switch. Was this door already removed, or this is what the fireman removed? Because if this is a door that was removed to a room that victim A stayed in, then the testimony that Kimberly gave to the cop while sitting in that SUV is a lie. When she says he could move about freely and no locks, he could move freely. Then what is this we're looking at here? A door leaning up against a wall. So this is why I have to ask all the questions. Was this door already ajar and off? Excuse me, was it already off the hinges when the fireman got there? Or it was removed from the room that victim A was in? Because if this was already a shut door and locked from the outside, then that means, Kimberly, you lied It said he could move about freely. Stay woke, everybody. That's why you have to pay attention. Now we're going to also take a look at the lock. And if you zoom in on this, that is a light fixture. So that's a wall. That's inside of a wall. That will be inside, because that's usually where you see a light fixture as soon as you walk into a room.
I had a house fire when I was younger, so I understand what like regular house fire damage looks like.
Hold on.
It's a pigsty, and
we can go back.
Like regular.
Sorry, I'm trying to get a picture of this lock.
Action.
I was horrified. I had a house fire when I was younger, so I understand what like.
Right there. Want to look at that. Is that jimmied or not? That lock. I'd have to see it at a different angle. Is that a jimmy lock where somebody had to pop it to open a door? Because like I said, if it's true, then she lied. He was locked inside of the room.
Regular house fire damage looks like, and it's a pigsty and very unhygienic.
Bathroom.
I'm horrified. I really am. It's what like a house you go to Urban Explorer and after it's been abandoned for 20 years looks like.
All type of locks.
And then there are
staircase,
the locks
nasty.
that you can see on the outside of doors. It must be
ceiling
to know
caved
that
in.
could be the circumstance he was looking at for 2 decades.
That's a heavier lock. See, look at all the different locks.
It's inhumane. There's no reason for it.
Why do they have all these locks and latches?
Oh, he was as a little kid.
That's all the way at the top.
Deserves
The last
locks
one
on the outside of the doors. It's just subhuman.
See, that was lower.
Heather, I hope that you
This is crazy.
with your brother at some point when he's well. I hope that there's some healing, certainly for him as well. And I wish you peace in your family. This has just been such a difficult story to report. And again, I'm not living it. So thank you for talking and sharing your story tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody.
That has been joining us tonight. Thanks for watching.
That was the sister, biological sister, victim A. Like she said, it's up to her brother to decide if he wants to converse with her or not. So what we have to ask are the obvious questions. Where is victim A right now? Who has custody of him, although he is an adult, but where is he staying? Is he happy? Is he doing well? Is he in a facility, someone's home, a foster home for adults? Where is he? Also ask the question, is he developmentally delayed? That was mentioned by the cop to Mrs. Sullivan in this body cam footage I showed you earlier, but they cut it out because certain things have cut out of the said video. So I'm assuming she answered. And then as someone said in the chat, what's the motive for this? Well, as I always tell people, never ask why not. You have to think like a sadist. I did it because I could. Because you always got to remember, everyone does things differently for different reasons when it comes to committing crimes, mental, physical abuse, sexual abuse. They did it because they could. The opportunity was there and they did it. Now, when it comes to fraud, greed, obvious reasons, I want the money, the luxuries, blah, blah, blah. As I said, I don't know if this man is disabled. She did it for the check to keep him inbound, bound up in this house. I don't really know. But I know this has been going on ever since he was a kid. So what we have to do is go back in the book of life and ask, how did the father treat him when he got custody of the boy? Was he angry? Was he happy to have the boy? Why did he stop contact with the biological mother? We learned that the biological mother lost custody of, I believe, this child here, this girl. We don't have any information on why she lost custody of her. That's what people want to hear. Because when you start talking about these people getting, in cahoots with this guy and getting in his life, he's had enough trauma already. And we don't know her, and we don't know the biological mother. And it's not to be rude to the sister, but just common sense. None of you all know each other. And the one thing I'm tired of seeing is everybody running to the news talking about this and that, but not telling the whole story. Because you see, this is deeper than just him being mistreated by Mrs. Sullivan and possibly his dead father, which I'm going to go ahead and say he mistreated him as well. Because he's the catalyst. He's the one that had custody of the boy before he even met Mrs. Sullivan. Why did the mother lose custody of this girl child? Because allegedly she said that's what led her not to be mentally fit to raise victim A. And she let the husband, boyfriend, whomever, take victim A. See, all that's relevant. Because it looks like to me he was doomed, as you have seen with a lot of true crime cases involving children, such as Kaimani Lateef. Prime example. You're going from place to place to place to place to only end up dead. Fortunately for this man, he's still alive at 68 pounds. But that's a pattern you see a lot with children who are put into the state's care, either by the state or the parents give them up. It's a pattern of moving around, and then they're getting more abused place to place, place to place, place to place. And then there's a finale, which usually ends horribly. So what happened with this woman, and why did she not raise her first child, girl child? Was there physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse with the girl child, outside parties, or the mother? The state took her. Who called? Who complained? What's the evidence? So you have to ask all those questions. So she said she couldn't move on knowing her first child was gone. See, that's questionable as well, because then you have to say, well, why didn't you fight for her? You wanted her so bad and you lost custody, then why didn't you fight for her? It basically led you to not to be able to raise victim A, child 2, because you couldn't get over the fact the state took her. But why didn't you fight for her? See, that's what Banfield and all these news people need to ask these people when they come on their programs. Stop asking the monetary questions of when was the last time you saw the kid? Ask the hardcore questions. Ma'am, what happened to this kid here? Why did you lose custody of this kid, which led you to feel like you couldn't raise the second kid who was held hostage for 20 years? That's what I want to hear. Same thing with the Kaimani Lateef story. You all are talking to the bio mom, but you're not asking her, ma'am, why do you not have custody of your daughter who's now dead? Ask the hard questions. Because jumping on the news crying about, oh, my kid, my son, my daughter, oh, they're dead, they're held hostage. People want to hear the truth. How did you get to this place? How did this kid get to this place? Why are we talking about this story? Because that's the whole point. A story has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And sitting up in front of the camera crying and putting on, saying, you know, oh, woe is me, my child's dead, my child's missing, oh, they abused my kid, but you don't even have custody of the kid, but you don't want to talk about why. That's what people really want to hear, why you don't have it, for them to get in this predicament in the first place. Because you see, had you done right by your kid, we wouldn't be talking about this story. Isn't that right? But then the flip side of that is, you weren't doing a good job. We possibly were going to still be talking about your kid. Checkmate. That's where the pattern comes in. That possibly the child was doomed from the womb. And we were going to be talking about the story one way or the other, no matter who got custody of the kid. That's my commentary, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Check the polls on my community page. The next live stream today will be pertaining to Brian Kohrberger, the latest of information, evidentiary, and where this trial is going to be going. Come August, will it be on time? And we learned that he did not sexually assault the girls, Brian Kohrberger, but what did he do in that house alone with them? Because you should know that someone who's a first-time killer would want a trophy from his victims. So did Korberger take any trophies out of the house? Did he film it? Did he take any pictures of the decedents? And did he do anything sexual in nature after unaliving the girls and Ethan Chapin? If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BigAngie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. God bless. I will possibly put up a movie for your entertainment this weekend for those of you who may stay in, shelter in. It's kind of cloudy like today here in East Tennessee. It's kind of in and out, sun in and out. But anyway, it's warm. It's very warm outside. Hope you all are well. Please stay safe. And I'll be back with more stimulating content and commentary. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.